Well, good afternoon. If it's Tuesday at noon, it is Thinking Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's great to be here again today to take a few minutes to check our mindset. Yes, our mindset. That's what Thinking Tuesday is all about. I want to start today by asking you the following questions. What have you been thinking about this week? Yes, you. What have you been thinking about this week? I know what I've been thinking about. Where have your thoughts taken you this week? Are you tilling the soil in preparation for new thought? Because we don't want soil that's not tilled, soil that's stagnant and soil that's so hard that nothing can permeate it. So, have you been tilling the soil of your mind this week in preparation for new thought? Are you examining your thinking to determine where your thinking is taking you? Where is it taking you? What journey is your mind taking you? Is it taking you to higher places? Is it keeping you stuck? Because stuck stinks, and that's not a good place to be. But actually, as I'm thinking about it now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Stuck is not necessarily a bad thing unless we stay stuck. But if we're stuck for a little while and we're working to get unstuck, that's a good thing. Because being stuck can bring us to the reality that a change is needed. It can get us started by challenging us to find higher ground. So, stuck is not always bad, but we don't want to stay stuck. It helps us to find a better way to make plans, let's say, to move out of that stuck position. Being stuck makes you feel uncomfortable. I know when I'm stuck, it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable place to be. And when we feel uncomfortable, it's only a sign. It's a sign that it's time to change something, isn't it? So we don't just stay stuck and don't think about it, but we recognize why it is we're stuck. We try to get help to determine why we're stuck because it's a sign that we need to be moving someplace else. So are you feeling uncomfortable about something, anything? Maybe a relationship that's not working, perhaps, or a job that's not fulfilling your needs, or a feeling that you can be doing more than you're doing right now, than you're capable of doing. What might you be feeling uncomfortable about that you need to wrap your thoughts around to develop a new plan to move forward? What is that thing that might be making you feel uncomfortable? The good thing about it, and there's always good, I always look for the positive. The good thing about it is that any time is a good time and the right time to make a change. It's never, never too late. That is the good news. But if you're looking for a place or a time to start, what better time than the spring, right? So, what does spring represent to you? What does spring represent to you? Generally, when we think of spring, we think of new growth. New growth. I love that. New growth. Beautiful flowers, green grass. It's mating season. It's mating season. I've already begun to see the new life springing up on my lawn. The birds seeking out where they're going to make their next nest. The baby chipmunks and the squirrels flitting about. The stems of new growth bursting from the bottom of the earth. In a few weeks, there will be so much new growth, that the long, harsh winter that some of us experience will be a distant memory. Isn't that something to look forward to? I know I'm looking forward to it. So, let me ask you, what are your plans for your spring mind shift? Yes, your spring mind shift. Remember our slogan, your mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the seed, and you can choose to grow flowers or you can choose to grow weeds. So I am so also tilling my mind's garden. I'm a gardener. I'm always gardening. And not just the flowers outside, but I'm always gardening, checking in on my thoughts, tilling the soil, looking for new growth, looking for what doesn't work. And I have discovered in tilling my mind's garden some things about myself that I am working to change. Things that have been standing in my way of accomplishing some goals that I have set for myself. I'm holding myself accountable. I'm looking for new ways of doing things that's going to work for me. While it might be challenging at times, it is also exhilarating. It's exhilarating to know that I am the designer of my life, just as you are of yours. So while I'm tilling the soil of my mind and discovering some things that I want to change about myself, yes, some of them are challenging, but it's exhilarating because I know the answers are within me and I am the designer of my life. Once you're on the road to self discovery, to really get to know yourself, although it might be tempting, and it is tempting sometimes, it is difficult to turn back. It is really difficult, at least for me, it's difficult to turn back when you encounter those challenges that you must overcome. You might be tempted to do so, but if you're on a true journey of self discovery, you don't want to turn back. You want to keep going forward. You use your challenges to motivate you. Now, some of you have heard me talk from time to time about one of my mentors, John Maxwell. His law of awareness states that you must know yourself in order to grow yourself. And I totally embrace this concept. Because if you don't know where you are, if you don't know who you are, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to determine where you want to go, or how you want to grow, and what changes you should be making. So knowing yourself has to be a constant journey that you're on because it helps you to get to where you need to be. To become aware means that you have the knowledge and the understanding that something is happening or that something exists. That's the meaning of being aware. But unfortunately, we are living in a time where there is a growing tendency to deny or ignore the awareness of what we see because it becomes more expedient to do what is easier. But easier is not always best, and it certainly is not always healthy. When we become aware of something, it may pose a challenge, just like I mentioned before. It may pose a challenge that we are not willing to face. So it might be denied or ignored, but that does not mean that it goes away because it does not. But when we choose to honor our awareness, it helps us to determine what's our next step. Do I remain where I am? Or do I develop a plan for my next step? That's the good thing about being aware. We can make decisions. We know that we have choices. I'm always grateful when I become aware of something about myself. That awareness sometimes can be painful, but sometimes it's pleasant. So we don't run from it no matter what. But I am grateful also for my awareness that I ultimately have the choice to decide the next step based on what I'm learning about myself. And I hold on to that mindset very, very dearly. I encourage you to do the same. Be willing to face those challenges, however painful. They're not always going to be painful, but we have to confront that. And it's always good to remember that we always have choices. We have choices. If we know better, we do better, right? So, back to my thoughts about spring. I encourage you to get in the spirit of spring mindset. Yes, develop a spring mindset. I encourage you to develop that feeling about shifting your mind, shifting your thoughts, not being afraid to do that, not being afraid to experiment, to explore new thought, because that's how we grow. When we look forward to spring cleaning, and we all do in some way, we're getting rid of things that no longer are useful. We don't find them useful anymore. We have garage sales, right? We pack up clothing that no longer fit us and donate them to charities unless we're trying to hold on to them so that we can work to get them to fit us again. But there's so many people in need. We don't have to hold on to things that are not useful right now. Or we move things out to make room for new things. We move those old things out, whatever they might be. So why not have a spring mind shift? What thoughts have you been harboring that no longer serve you? Do some spring mind shift cleaning. What kinds of thinking, what kind of thinking are you holding on to that you should let go of in order to make room for more self-affirming, growth-producing thinking? Where do you need to do some mind shift, spring mind shift? What self-limiting thoughts, self-limiting thinking have brought you into uh, looking at yourself in a more um, shrinking manner? What thoughts have led you to show up more smaller than you should be instead of stepping into your greatness? Shrinking thinking is not a good thing. Find thoughts that are going to be self-affirming, that are going to be growth producing, that helps you to step into your greatness, which you have. Be aware. Be aware that you have the potential to grow beyond where you are today. You can always be better tomorrow than you are today. You have the potential to be, do, and have more than you can ever imagine. But first, where does it begin? With your thinking. It begins with your thinking and your imagination. Begin with a spring mind shift. Dare yourself. Dare to see yourself beyond your current circumstances, whatever those circumstances may be. Get in the spirit of a spring mind shift. And just in case you want to further expand your current mind shift, and I know you do, otherwise you would not be tuned into Thinking Tuesday, because you know that's what we are. Just remember that you can create a mindset of spring any time of the year. So after spring passes, the seasonal spring, and it's now fall and then winter, you can carry that spring mind shift with you. You are the designer of your life and your thoughts. So happy spring mind shifting. As always, Feel free to share this message with someone who could benefit from it. See the replays on my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Cheryl Burton Thinking Tuesday. I invite you also, as I always do, to go to my website, drcherylburton.com, where you'll see many of my programs and services that I offer for your personal and professional development. My programs and services are customized to meet the needs of my clients. So if you don't see something there that you are interested in, reach out to me and we can talk about how I can create something that meets your needs. You can also book me to speak at your events. Feel free to contact me through my website, again, drcherylburton.com. And as usual, it's been my pleasure to serve you today. I look forward to meeting with you next Tuesday at noon for another message on Thinking Tuesday. So take care of yourself. Until next time, and happy spring mind shifting. You are the designer of your life. Spring can be any day of your life. It does not have to be just during spring. So take care. Be good to yourself. I'll see you next Tuesday at noon for Thinking Tuesday. Bye for now. Take care.